Welcome to Master Student, where knowledge is true wealth. Welcome to Master Student. On this video of our reflection, I will be going over different key points in a Brother Panic lecture titled The Principle of Rhythm. The principle of rhythm states, everything flows out and in, everything has its tides, all things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. Brother Panic is an ascended master. He made the transition not too long ago. He's a great occult teacher, metaphysical teacher, spiritual teacher, just overall a great teacher. And he talks about various occult knowledge. And fortunately, this channel by the name of Pandemon has been uploading various lectures that Panic dropped on occult lectures before that page or YouTube channel was eventually taken down. And I'm grateful for Pandemon to constantly be uploading this very much needed, essential, I might say, information. It's a blessing. Panic has always dropped great information that has moved me forward in life. And it has been times where I might have thought, okay, I got everything I needed from a video, and I listen to that video one more time and I have another breakthrough. So it's definitely a blessing. I'm thankful for Pandemon to constantly be uploading this information once more. But let's get into the video. Once again, the title of the video is Brother Panic, The Principle of Rhythm. You can check this out on Pandemon YouTube channel. Let's get into
it. That you keep fucking dreaming about, you must refuse to participate in the lower energy or the backward swing, which means you cannot adopt Trayvon Martin no matter how sad it is. I know it's sad. I'm not oblivious or an animal to it. I know it's sad to see some black girl get beat by some funky, hillbilly, redneck, scared, savage, bully cop. I know that. But I also know the law of rhythm. And for me to be my most powerful, I cannot buy into what they're trying to now show me constantly on the news. Then now to YouTube and now on Facebook. I cannot buy into that. Once I buy into that, I participated in the backward swing and I deneutralized what I neutralized, which was these lower energies, to give it up for my higher self, because I said, I'm conscious, I'm God. I'm a titan. I'm a great old one. So that means I can't participate in human activities. I can't be a lab rat and get in the cage with you. I'm a scientist. So I get to deal and speak on Trayvon Martin from the perspective of someone who observed what's going on. I'm talking about Trayvon Martin as an observer, not as someone who's in the cage with him who it can possibly happen to. It ain't happening to me. I'm a God. I'm a scientist. I conduct the experiments, or I watch the experiments play it out. I watch the chess game. I'm not in it. All right? That's what an occult mind thinks. That's what a master occultist thinks. A master hermeticist, a master student, an adept. That's what you're supposed to be, not a Facebook motherfucking socialite, aficionado.
So I do want to stop right there and just build on that for a small period of time. Brother Panic just said something I find to be very beneficial in my everyday life, and that's to always be an observer. Not everything needs a response. Um, I go through life with this mindset of I'm just passing through. I don't plan to take residency on Earth. I'm not a human. So why would I react to everything a human does? I don't care if it's a friend or a family member. It's human shit. I don't need to react to everything a human does. I'm just passing through. I don't plan to stay here. No, that doesn't mean I'm gonna do some crazy shit in my life. No. That just means I have this understanding that this is temporary. So because this is temporary, I'm not about to put all of my energy into something I understand is not everlasting. Point blank, period. Those who put all their energy into something that's not everlasting, they lost themselves. So that's something that I always keep in mind as I move out. Not move out, but as I move through life, always have in mind that this is temporary, and most importantly, it's an illusion of the mind. So always have that in mind. Let's get back into the video.
That's not what you're supposed to be. I'm saying, get it together, nigga. I like Jello pudding. The master hermeticist or advanced student polarizes himself on a desired pole, and by a process akin to refusing to participate in the backward swing, or if you prefer, denial of its influence over him. You heard that? Denial of the influence over him. That's why you hear other black people talking about, well, you're denying this and that, and you're denying this happening. You're goddamn right I'm denying this happening. But I'm participating in my God force. I'm denying humanity's, because you have to accept that the fact that humanity will and always be flawed. It was born in a flaw. If you don't understand that, read anything on Gnosticism. Jacques Lacarriere's book, The Gnostics, is an excellent one for someone starting out and you read about Gnosticism, and you'll read that this entire reality was born in a state of a flaw. There's nothing here that what you had as black people, which still wasn't perfect, was us mimicking something greater that exists within us. So we made it manifest in cultures, in our interactions with people, but we were only mimicking something that exists in a greater place, understanding that this place by nature is flawed. So I'm going to deny this flaw and raise up the greater part of me. That's what you're doing. That's what you're supposed to be doing as a conscious person. The day you become conscious, when you say, well, I'm sick of this, and I'm sick of the white man, I'm sick of the lies, I'm sick of religion, I'm sick of that, what you're really saying is, I'm sick of humanity and all that it has delivered to me. And when you say, I'm sick of that and all that's delivered to me, then the first thing you say is, well, what else is there? Then you hear, oh, you got melanin, kundalini, a soul, pineal chakras. But these things need to be activated because they sleep in humanity. How do you activate it? Well, you like to hear it? Here you go. There's breathing, there's meditation, there's ritual, there's crystals, there's candles, there's color therapy, there's aromatherapy, there's readings, there's herb packs, there's baths, there's oils, there's blah, blah, blah. You can go on and on for days. But if you're using these things to be a better human, you totally missed the point. In the law of rhythm, all you did was raise up that backward swing. Shit that you were already telling yourself you were trying to escape. Now you use these things to actually enhance what it is you think you were trying to escape as a human. When you enhance your consciousness, you lose that emotional reaction with humanity. So when somebody says, oh, okay, you're supposed to do that, I'm like, you're looking for me to emotionally say you're a goddess and you're special and we love you. I'm not going to say that because that's raising up your humanity. That's counterproductive to what it is. Not only I'm saying and said clearly, but the shit that you said. When you say, well, I'm tired of religion, I'm tired of humanity, I'm tired of these works, I'm tired of the white man doing this, saying I'm tired of humanity. So you don't get to come to me and ask me to help you with your humanity anymore. You fucking up the rhythm, player. I like Jello. All right. Let me move on. To participate in the backward swings, or you prefer denial, or its influence over him or her. He stands firm in his polarized position. I mean, I'm conscious no matter how it goes. My mama died, I'm gonna see that as a conscious thing. Not as, oh, I got my mama. No, it's conscious. Why? Because I stand polarized in my position as God. Polarized in my position as God. Everything you throw at me, I evaluate as a God. Especially if I'm dealing with conscious. Humans, I leave that to humanity. In it, not of it. He allows the mental pendulum to swing along the unconscious plane. He allows the mental pendulum to swing along the unconscious plane. Meaning, what does that mean? That means, as we already discussed, that when you neutralize correctly, what you're doing is you are all the stuff that is of lower nature, all the stuff that is of considered all the stuff that is considered lower or problematic to you, when the pendulum swings, you're not even fucking aware it's happening. Hallelujah, glory. That's the way you want to be. All right. So he polarizes his position, allows the mental pendulum to swing back along the unconscious plane. All individuals who have attained any degree of self-mastery accomplish this, more or less unknowingly, by refusing to allow their moods, emotions, as I pointed out, and negative mental states to affect them. They apply the law of neutralization. I like Jello. The master, however, carries this to a much higher degree. See, now, what they're saying, if you have self-mastery, you'll have accomplished this. So most people unconsciously, Rob Darrow-Deck, the skateboard guy that I told you about, he accomplished this unconsciously. Why? Because he mastered himself. How did he master himself? He was a skateboard dude that somebody said, I'm going to give you money for skateboarding. So his whole thing was, I don't never have to grow up. This is some Peter Pan shit. You know what I'm saying? So he's now applying neutralization because he's in the position to apply it. He's not in no way better than you. Because you don't have that money and you wanted to be somebody who was the master cardboard box builder, but there's no job to be that, or a fisherman, you had to take a job at fucking The Price is Right or whatever the fuck it is you do, automatically you can't live your dream. So him living his dream, he's able to apply the law of neutralization naturally. That's cause of self-mastery. He mastered his job. He mastered his life. I'm a skateboard guy who's making skateboard money. Self-mastery. Most people who mastered their self in some sort of way, even like Donald Trump, who's a racist, a bastard, but he's still self-mastered because, you know, and usually and it's not truly self-mastery. They usually get it from their father, which puts them in a feeling or the illusion of self-mastery. So most of these white boys is hand-me-down money. It's not, and they're doing things based upon this fake illusion of self-mastery, but they have mastered themselves based upon getting that gift. We didn't get that gift. We got, you know, slavery or the remnants of it. Therefore, it's harder for us to neutralize or self-master. But as a conscious person, this is what we get into now. The master, and the master is just code for the conscious person, the illuminated one, the alchemist, the metaphysician, the occultist. So the master, or the hermeticist, however, carries this to a much higher degree. So I'm going to carry it because I'm conscious to a higher degree because of my awareness than this little skateboard punk, right? I carry to a higher degree of proficiency, and by the use of the will, I attain a degree of poise and mental firmness, almost impossible of belief on the part of those that allow themselves to be swung backwards. See, it's impossible. My mental firmness is impossible to believe for those others who allow themselves to be swung backwards when you're dealing with that rhythm. So when I tell niggas my fortitude in that Trayvon Martin don't affect me, this don't affect me, because they are on that pendulum swing of backwards and forwards, I hear things like, damn, Panic, you cold, and I know you hate humans, but don't tell Panic that Panic ain't gonna do that. Panic is Panic. I'm like, motherfuckers, why y'all trying to judge me in terms of human morality? Human morality. You're trying to judge me there. You don't understand in my level of consciousness, I'm a firm master on the side of a pendulum swing that's higher than your fucking human interpretations of motherfucking events.
Okay, so I'm gonna just stop it there real quick. A key point that he's making right now is don't mix your science with some human shit. The two is separate, you know. I was recently watching a video bomb, and he recently was like, my human life is my human life. He was like, if I'm doing some human shit, I'm gonna put on my house slippers. If I'm doing some science, I'm gonna put on a fucking lab coat. So the symbolism that, you know, he's saying utilize these items to symbolize a certain type of mind state that you're going to be in during certain periods in your life. You know, if we're talking about not being moved by humanity, we're not going to talk about moralism, because moralism is something that's encased in humanity. That doesn't mean I'm not going to have morals and principles and be a man. No, that's not what that means. It's just I'm not going to confuse the two, because moralism is something that has to do with earthly matters. When we get into spiritual work, or when we get into shadow work, however you want to perceive it, we're not talking about humanity. We're not talking about moralism. We're talking to that which transcends flesh. So you don't want to mix the two. You know what I'm saying? It's like trying to mix oil and water. You know what I'm saying? The two don't mix. It's just the oil gonna stay on top. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not gonna mix with the water. That's just what it is. So it's the same thing when it comes to this type of work. You can't mix the two together. Of course, there's a time and place for everything, so definitely have discernment with that. But overall, you're not going to mix the two. You know, I believe I said that. You know, it's straightforward. You know, there's nothing else to say on the matter. Let's get back to the video.
The good news, I do everything in my power to bring you there with me. I don't throw this in your face. I'm here to bring you there with me. I'm teaching you now how to get there, nigga. How to be this shit that's going on, to be non and void of it. Are you ignoring it on a level you are? Do you see it exists? And do you have compassion? Absolutely. I have compassion for any black kid that gets killed. But my emotional reaction is different, because I know through my emotions it would allow me to swing my pendulum when I'm on the pendulum of higher self. And these events hit me unconsciously. It hits me unconsciously, meaning I don't have emotional reaction, and I'm not tied in or dragged into this mental state or the mind control, or in other words, the shit they doing to you ain't working for me, because this is how it works. It's a mental fuck. It's a mental fuck. The emotions that come along with it is just only showing you the state of your mental. All right? So they're there to mentally fuck you over. They're there to show this for a mental reaction, to keep your pendulum stuck on the polarity of humanity, lower thoughts, negativity, and fear. Conscious people, you're supposed to shape your rhythm to a higher frequency of love, my niggas. That's what this is. That's what you're doing here. Because I know you don't know what the fuck you're doing. What you think you're doing is seeing how many times you can quote Bobby Hemmett. Are y'all all right? And think you fucking figured some shit out. You haven't. Change your polarity means you need to change your mind. Neutralize this bullshit. As a master hermeticist. So, mental firmness is what we're talking about. I'm mentally firm and I'm God, motherfucker. I know I'm God. I know you're the goddess only if you decide to mentally realize it, motherfucker. Not just because you have a motherfucking vagina. You born with a vagina. That ain't no fucking accomplishment, motherfucker. You born with breast milk when you lactate for a child. That ain't no accomplishment. Stop holding that up alone as that's an accomplishment. When you activate these on a spiritual level and understand their holistic part in the universe, that the universe nurtures you, and it's a feminine principle. And you hold that symbolically within your body. When you understand that.
I just want to chime this in as well. Although he's talking about the women, same thing go for the guys out there who be thinking you doing some God of the earth type shit just because you have a dick. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what that's about. Anybody I associate with, we don't be on that type of timing, but I do know there are guys out there who have this, I don't know, it's some weird shit. It's really like the ego out of control. That's the best way to say it. He's just talking about it from a feminine perspective. I know it's a lot more women who tap in with the information, so I think that's why he's talking about it from a feminine standpoint, but there's definitely some guys out here on some weird shit as well. I know when I was in Atlanta, it was guys, having that type of mindset. I just overheard shit, but same thing go for the guys. You know what I'm saying? Get out your ego. That's pretty much what he getting at. It's not a fucking dick pulling contest. Actually do the fucking work. It's not about stroking your ego at the end of the day. If you got that out of this type of information, you failed. Like real shit, you failed. But let's get back to it.
You ain't a goddess because you're a female. You're a goddess because you represent the feminine principle, which is fucking different. Let's get it, niggas. Teach me how to Dougie, nigga. You get it? It's the feminine principle. If you embody that and embrace that, which exists in man and in female. The masculine principle exists in man and female. You're an androgynous being, as the god and goddess within you. You came down here to realize the masculine or the God side of you if you're walking around with a dick, because it represents a symbol. A symbol. And only a symbol that you wear when you're in humanity. When you leave humanity, you're no longer masculine or feminine. You are an androgynous being. Mayats, that you like to say. Balance.
That's a fact.
The rhythm manifested. Polarity manifested. That's your higher self. Down here, you're symbolic of a penis. You're symbolic. And everybody's born with a dick or a pussy. That don't make you a god or a goddess.
That's a fact.
Do the alchemy, my niggas. God or goddess is a motherfucking title that you must acquire through your fucking alchemy, through your mental state. Step one is just knowing that you're a god or a god. So you niggas is at step one when you say I'm a god or a goddess, peace god or peace goddess. Step one. There's pathways, things you need to understand in your ancient science, your mental alchemy that you need to do to say, oh, okay, my thinking is what makes me a god or a goddess. Or my thinking is what makes me a fucking human. What I see is a lot of niggas calling themselves gods and goddesses and thinking like a human. Neutralized on a negative pole. Get it, nigga, get it, nigga. I like Jello. The master, however, carries this to a much higher degree in proficiency, and by the use of his will, he obtains a degree of poise, mental firmness, also impossible, mental firmness, almost impossible of belief on the parts of those who allow themselves to be swung back and forward by the mental pendulum of moods and feelings. All right? So your moods and feelings, if you're getting bounced around through that, you wouldn't understand someone like me who's telling you what I'm telling you today, or telling you what I've been telling you about. See, another one, when, what's that boy who played John Coffey? When John Coffey died, all these niggas, I know Panic done talked to him, oh, this is gonna be hot. And then they was shocked when I got on the radio and said, fuck John Coffey. Why the fuck would I want to talk to him? And as many niggas as I've been talking to, you should be able to talk to him by yourself, because I told you how by now. Get a fucking herb pack, talk to him by yourself. I don't give a fuck what he has to say. They just couldn't understand. Oh, but a black man died. So he was nothing but a fucking actor. He did nothing, and even the roles he took or nothing stood out. You know what I'm saying? I'm scared of the dark, boss. Fuck, who cares? And even if he was special, y'all talk to him if you need to. So people just couldn't understand that. Why? Now you should understand, because I don't swing myself there. I'm not emotionally connected to someone dying like that. You understand? Black or whatever. It doesn't emotionally do that for me. You understand? So understand, that's why you couldn't understand. I'm not into these moods of feelings with this swing, but you are. So when the people who don't understand that, who call themselves conscious and on this level, when they do that, you have revealed yourself. That's why I'm confident in telling you what you don't know all the fucking time, because that's how you reveal yourself to me. It ain't what you say or what you repeat in terms of your God or what book you read. That ain't proving to me nothing. Is when you say these sociological bullshit things to me on the side that really tell me what you really fucking with. That's why I'm conscious enough to say, hey, now I'm teaching it to you. So now you know. And don't say you don't know, motherfucker. Now I'm explaining to you why you feel I'm so fucking coarse. I'm coarse because I'm not trying to give you what you need. You feel I'm coarse because you're looking for something to appease you in a human way, and I don't give it to you. So you don't get what you need from me, when you ask these fucking questions that you can find out for yourself. Why? Because I'm not trying to raise up your humanity and tell you how beautiful you are, because your nose is a black nose that we find on the walls of Egypt. That's appeasing you humans. And I'm not here to do that. I wouldn't do you the dishonor of appeasing your humanity. I'm doing you a favor. I'm showing you what it is to be a God, where you don't need me to tell you anything but how my research went. When you research the same item, we need to share light. That's what we're supposed to be doing. Sharing light, sharing breakthroughs, interacting with each other, because we are the same mind. So therefore we share the mind. So what you do and I do, even though it looks on the illusion of different, when we come together, we are one God mind, one same mind, one frequency, the one, like they call Neo. Uno, numero uno, like Miss One said in The Wiz. Numero uno. You know what I'm saying? Of one mind, one divine quantum mind, all connected. When we dealing in the same light, when you still debating, arguing, because you ain't dealing with no light, you're dealing with fucking your human ego and your will. I'm right. No, motherfucker, we all right. If we dealing with lights, ain't no one motherfucking way. Nigga, our minds are so fucking complex. You know what I'm saying? When you deal with the androgynous state.
I'm going to just chime this in right here. There's many paths to the light, and on top of that, there's always more than one answer. That's why it doesn't make sense to debate, because there's many answers.
I just told you in polarity, like and unlike are what? Alike, niggas, are the same. Like and unlike are the same. How are you debating when you understand your science in the law of polarity? There is no debate, nigga. That's human shit. Human shit. Ain't no debate when you understand the law of polarity. Like and unlike are the same. No matter how you get there, if you find light, then you are there. You niggas ain't dealing with no light. You're dealing with your own fucking agenda. Come on now. Just play in your fucking sandbox. Stay in your fucking sandbox with that bullshit. So now you niggas understand on a more deeper level, which I tell in class, in the class format, not in the lecture format, where a lot of that shit comes from. Let the dead lie with the dead. Don't cast pearls to spine. Fuck these dead ass niggas. Fuck Trayvon Martin on that level. It ain't about you devoid of compassion, but my compassion for these black folks lie in a different place. It doesn't lie in raising up their humanity or even celebrating their humanity. We deal and celebrate their spirituality. You understand this? There comes into operations that which is known as the law of compensation. The law of compensation, which is under the law of rhythm. Because, you know, most people say, well, my yacht is, you give me that, and we need to balance it out with reciprocity. I give you $1, you owe me something for $1. I can say that's true, and that does hold forth in your human interactions, but we need to deal with it on it. That's not the spiritual understanding of it. The law of compensation. One of the definitions and the meaning of the word compensation is to counterbalance. So when you really talk about compensation, you talk about counterbalance. If I give you one thing, you need to balance that out. That's how you're dealing with the rhythm. You understand? Counterbalance. Which in the sense in which the hermeticists, this is the sense in which the hermeticists use the term. So most of the people who call themselves your teachers, and they very much well are, they'll say, my yacht is reciprocity and this and that, and you're pigs, and you shouldn't do this, and that's what that means, because they're reading it from a human, mundane level. They're not going into the symbols, the occultism, or the metaphysics of it. So the hermeticist or the occultist understands compensation or reciprocity is counterbalance, right? It is in this law of compensation in which the Kabbalion, or the laws of Tahuti, principle of Tahuti, refers to, says, the measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm always compensates. So the rhythm is always going to compensate. So no matter how, so you need to understand this as well. No matter how bad these police officers act out, this white man acts out, chemtrails, vaccinations, St. Ives, malt liquor, whatever the fuck y'all complain about, rhythm is going to compensate, which means the pool of conscious light is always on that other side. So there's never more light than more darkness, because why? Dark and light are what? Based upon the law of polarity. Like and unlike are what? The same thing. There is no such thing as I'm dark side, or I'm light side, or I'm a light bringer. That's low-level understandings, people who don't understand polarity. Darkness in the light is a process, but it's actually the same thing. That's why darkness can be into light, or a light lit room can become dark, because it's the same thing. The room is still there, whether there's light or darkness in it. It's just different. Remember, polarity is different extremes of different opposites, or the same thing but different extremes. Light and dark is still dark, or still light. Still can be illuminated through dark light. So it's just as foolish to be, I'm the dark side, nigga. I'm the dark side. I'm the dark side. No, that's a different. That's a concept in light. So it's so-called light side. But you have to deal with it all to be androgynous or complete. Come on now. Why? Because if we understand the law of polarity, which is your science, your ancient law, which you claim to believe in, like and unlike are the same. So darkness and light are the same. Ain't no I'm dark side and he's light side. That kind of slowed down. That used to be a big deal. I'm dark side. I'm so dark side. I don't even wear white drawers, nigga. Oh, that's a dark side, man. I like him, but he's light side. That's like almost saying, I like him, but he's a Baptist. I like him, but he's a Catholic. I like him, but he's an Episcopalian and all this kind of shit. Just as dumb as that. If you understand your science. Come on, y'all. Y'all learning today. I like Jello. Y'all gonna learn today.
Stupid.
So the measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensate. So no matter how bad they get, you can guarantee that the counterbalance or the good is there. You just need to be on that side of the pendulum swing to be able to counterbalance it. So It is an answer there. It's not like you have to search for answers to defeat this white man. You're just looking in the wrong place. You're looking in the same cesspool that he has given you for your answers on his side of the rhythm. If you turn to your conscious side of the rhythm, polarize his shit, you can neutralize his shit, you can neutralize it on your side of polarity with consciousness with the same equal measurement that he gives you. Ain't no, I wonder if this will work or that'll work. It will work. Why? Because as extreme as he could get, there's a counter swing to the left. Know what that's called? That's called compensation. Counterbalance. You understand this now? The law of compensation means in our light science, there's an absolute answer and an equal response to anything he can possibly give you. The problem is we are not dealing with our polarity, our forms of light. All our actions or reactions are his cesspool, fear. We're not dealing with the higher frequency, which is unconditional love. Not love for your fellow human being. I love the kids, I love the babies. Okay, you may do it, have at it. We're talking about an extreme love of self, which is the true opening of the heart chakra. All right? All right? So now when you open that heart chakra for unconditional love of self, I teach this in class about the lower chakras, the gateway, the upper chakras, and the lower chakras, humanity. The heart chakra is called the place of the wounded child. The place of the wounded child. Here is where you realize in your consciousness that everything below you, these three lower chakras, which have been developed by all forms of humanity, is hurt, wounded, in fear, insecure, and this is where you heal the wounded child. Become the Christ, the Christios, the anointed, unconditional love for self. Here's where you forgive all your parents because you realize what? They were human too. I ain't telling you no more. You're going to have to take the class for that portion of it. But here in the heart chakra is where the unconditional love of consciousness begins. The gateway, the crown of the four devils. The three lower chakras, the four devils. This is the crown. This is where you become Lucifer or Christ or Jesus. Jesus and the devil, what are they? Two opposite poles, like and unlike, right? What does that mean? They're the same. The bright morning star, the sun. The light of Jesus, the light of the world. What is the bright morning star but the sun? Lucifer's the bright morning star. So he's the sun too. Guess what? Lucifer is Jesus. Jesus is Lucifer. Different polarity. Lucifer below you is the human aspect of Lucifer, the fallen angel. Lucifer here is where he becomes the wounded child or crowned at the top of the four devils. The throne. Your heart is the throne. Then you see Jesus, he is sitting with one hand on the heart, one hand up. Because they show him, once you get here, there's more. That's what it. So Jesus is telling you, don't focus on me, look up here. Where you've seen in Enter the Dragon, Bruce Lee telling that kid, point to the moon. He said, if you concentrate on the finger, you're going to miss all the glory of the motherfucking moon. What was he telling him? He said, if you concentrate on the symbol, you're going to miss what the symbol is saying. So Jesus Christ, the fake Jesus made up like Jesus, he's a symbol. He's a symbol for the Christios of consciousness. Most people concentrate on Jesus. I know Jesus. Jesus is a light of mine. I know Jesus. And what it is he's got his hand on his heart chakra and he's pointing up. Because he's saying the shit is really up here once you get here. The Christios. So your polarity is unconditional love of self, of your flaws. One of the things I teach in class is like, stop saying so sagging is niggas.
He just gave so much.
It's not like you want to be sagging or understanding, but stop being emotional over black men who wear their pants down. Why do you give a fuck? You need to start accepting it. Why? Not because it's smart or sexy, because as an alchemist, you understand you need to find unconditional love even for that nigga. Even to understand this whole entire plight has a meaning. Even the ignorance, the pole dancing, the robberies, rape has a meaning. Even as a humanist, you will never understand this meaning. You will never co-sign, and you will always have an opinion. And there's nobody here is condoning rape, crime, or violence in any form. But do you understand it as a scientist? Yeah. If you understand 1,000 rats in a little area, the motherfuckers gonna start eating each other and killing each other. You wouldn't even be emotional about rats killing each other. Why? Because you're not a rat, right? As a scientist, you would just explain that. Well, their living conditions, they had no food. Of course they're going to eat each other. That's what you would write on your report. You would keep it moving. You wouldn't sit there and cry for the rats. You wouldn't say, well, the rats had, oh, my heart goes out to the rats. Right. They were your experiment. You got to look at humanity the same way. This is an experiment. So I'm not going to cry for Trayvon Martin. I'm not going to cry. If I'm in a personal situation, and it was my son, of course, because that's a personal situation. Like, I'm going to save my kids and any kids that are around me, I'm going to save. But whoever the kids are, I don't know the motherfuckers, and I'm not saving the kids. I'm saving kids. I've saved plenty of kids. They call me Mr. fucking Panic. In fact, now one of my son's friends has been living with us for 3 months, and I'm saving the kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm saving that kid. You understand? He had an issue. And so there's a difference. Any kid in your cipher, any words of wisdom that they ask from you or you could bestow on them, of course, I'm not stupid. We're not talking about me living as an animal, but as a scientist, the subject of the kids, the babies, the this. You can't and don't, and that's why nobody has been saving the kids, because that's a fucking concept that don't work and won't work. It's an idea that makes you feel good when you say it. You know what I'm saying? The babies. But it's actually, no one's doing it. You save your babies and any babies in your fucking cipher that you can save, absolutely. But emotionally reaction, see, because I have a spiritual compassion, a greater compassion for Trayvon Martin. I don't have a human compassion for him. Kids die every motherfucking day. And then you niggas want to talk about death is freedom and you ain't scared to die, you ain't coming back, you ready to die. But so what then? He's dead. Isn't that a fucking jewel compared to all the bullshit shit you say on your blogs? Any motherfucking way? So it's compensation. It's the rhythm of compensation. The lower compensation, the swing in one direction determines the swing in the opposite direction. The opposite pole, one balances, counterbalance to the other. So basically, no matter what they do, in our polarity, in our science, there's always an answer or always a way to deal with it. But Hermeticists claim that the master or advanced student is able to a degree to escape the swing towards pain by the process of neutralization before mentioned. So neutralization is the key. And I explained that to you well, but you also have to understand once you have to be on your side to neutralize the opposite. So you have to understand the two opposite poles. Understand they're the same, but understand they're two different degrees, and you have to be able to determine the degrees. Fear cannot exist without love. Love cannot exist without fear. They're married to each other. Set cannot exist without Horus. Horus cannot exist without Set, the tale of two brothers. All right? The law of compensation plays an important part in the part of the lives of men and women. It will be noticed that one generally pays the price for anything he possesses or lacks. It has one thing he lacks, if he has one thing, he lacks another. The balance is struck. No one can keep his penny and have a bit of cake. That's where you get to stay. You can't have your cake and eat it too. Oh, now we understand what these statements mean. All right? That we've been saying all the fucking time. Can't have your cake and eat it too. Well, they're talking about the law of compensation, my niggas. Like I said, everything in this world is ours. And it comes down to our science. If you study and understand our science, trust me, you got this. Teach me how to, Dougie. No one can keep his penny and have a bit of the cake at the same time. Can't have your cake and eat it too. Everything has pleasant and unpleasant sides. The things that one gains are always paid for by the things that one loses. The rich possess much of what the poor lack. But the poor often possess things beyond the rich. That's interesting. You're a poor person. You usually have integrity, you appreciate shit, compassion for humans, the list goes on. But if you're rich, it's usually the opposite. You don't give a fuck about people. All you gotta do is watch Paris Hilton's reality show, The Simple Life, if you can find that anywhere, which I bought all of them. Shit was funny to show what an animal she was. Growing up rich, she had no compassion, no appreciation for people's shit, no appreciation for anything, basically. So poor people have more compassion. That's real quick. So what rich have, even though rich have money, poor people have no money. So it's all about rhythm, compensation, and the other thing I wanted to say, things that one gains are always paid for by things that other one loses. This happened to me, and usually to the conscious people that I talk to, I find this similar. And now that I'm sharing it, I guarantee you a lot of people are going to listen to it and go, this shit happened to me too. Losing your shit. I was doing it up. I made rap records, started at a very young age, and made a lot of rap records money. Producing. Producing is a whole different animal than singing and dancing in terms of the money. So my house reflected that. And then I started selling porno on the internet, right when the internet started up. And you think rap music is a lot of money? Shit. Don't underestimate how nasty motherfuckers are. And this was at a time where porno was rare to get. You only could get porno in the big cities. So places like Utah, with all.
If y'all want to hear this part of the lecture, y'all can check it out. He went deep into that story.
And they just had this shit open in the bar. That's who they are. You following?
He's basically talking about during his time, Panic, he came up during the era of when the internet first came out, and one of his jobs he talked about many times throughout his time as a teacher was early on in his life, he did sell pornos. That was during the time people bought it as like DVDs and shit before it was like on the internet, like accessible. You could just go online and buy it. So he goes in talking about how he was selling porno DVDs and the shit that the Caucasians used to want from him were like, what do you call it? Like basically, it'd basically be like white people fucking each other and smothering shit on their face, and that'd be like something that a lot of Caucasians will buy from him. So he goes in explaining that. He's basically talking about how that ties into the earlier days in the Caucasus Mountains and how they used to have shit fights. And he correlates that to current time, which is, mud fights. A lot of rednecks do mud fights and shit. So he correlates that to pre-dynastic time, or I guess that'd be like pre-dynastic. Yeah, about pre-dynastic, or yeah, I guess so. That's like pre-dynastic time, back when they were in the caves and shit. So no pun intended, but yeah, if you want to watch that, once again, you could check out Brother Panic's Principle of Rhythm. But I want to get back into the topic at hand.
Jumped up and hugged him.
This nigga is silly, man.
At his legacy and all this shit. I'm saying, here y'all going. Y'all fell for this okie doke shit again. This is my wife, and she's 16 years old. Into humanity before they are actually conscious. You need to know how to interact with humanity, so that's where it makes sense. So Bill Cosby always seen himself as a moral guy. I don't curse in my... You have to perform, and Brother Phil also talked about it in certain Mason groups, that to get to that level, you have to perform a homo act. Not that these men are homos, but to perform.
I think he goes into the Bill Cosby shit, and he correlates it with the principle of rhythm as well.
Buffoons, called it a minstrel show.
I personally didn't resonate with how the information was being told, but it's definitely a lesson in it. I already listened to the whole 5 hour lecture. I think I'm gonna cut the video a little short this time. This one might not be an hour. He was talking about some good information prior. And I could speak on that briefly. What was Panic saying about? He was talking about how Christ and the devil are one and the same. Remember, he's talking about two extremities. I think I said the word right. Two extremes. Let's put it like that. Two extremes. So you need to polarize as one. So that's the law of the rhythm. That's the law of rhythm. We talk about the pendulum swinging from left to right. You have to polarize yourself in a position of your choosing. So, like I say, we're talking about Christ and the devil being one. Remember, two sides of the same coin. Two sides of the same coin. So that's similar to what I'm getting at the moment. They're both one coin. You know, it's just two different sides. So you need to polarize yourself in the position of Christ. I actually have a book that goes into that notion. It's called "Who is the King of Glory?" "Who is the King of Glory" by Alvin Boyd Kuhn. I think that's how you say his name. Kuhn. You see the name. So this book goes into the notion of polarizing yourself in the position of Christ, and I believe that's something essential that everybody needs to do. When you polarize yourself in that position, you put yourself in a position to never fall into your humanity on a deeper level. Of course, it's going to happen time to time because you're still in flesh, so you're still going through the cycles of time. So that's just going to be something that's going to happen. I'm not going to say it's always going to happen. Everybody has different levels of self-mastery. So you might reach a level on your journey to where you're not affected by shit that you're not affected by human shit. Let's just say it plain and simple. You're not affected by human shit. You know, I'm still working on that. You know, it's certain shit that somebody can do, and sometimes it might trigger me. It might get an emotion out of me. My job, or I should say my goal, but it's also my job as well, is to not be affected by nothing outside of myself. So, in order to do so, I must polarize myself in the position of Christ. Because if I don't, I fall down to the lower natures. Like Panic was saying, he was talking about when he was talking about the four devils. The four devils is just that symbolic knowledge in representation of your four lower chakras. So you got your four lower chakras, and then what is it? Four lower chakras and your three upper chakras. I believe that's 7 chakras in the body. So you got your four lower chakras and your three higher chakras, I should say. which would be, oh shit, I think it should be your heart, your throat chakra, and then your crown. Uh, it should be. If I'm wrong, somebody definitely get at me in the comments and send me a video to check out. You know, I'm here to learn. But yeah, man. You know, I just felt like that was a good point to a good point in the video where Panic was, you know, talking about polarizing yourself in that position as God or Christ, however you want to perceive it, because that's essential in order to move you forward in life. If not, you're going to be having this human mindset, which is going to make you stagnant on your path of enlightenment, because human shit is full of emotion. So if you're not controlling your emotion and you're acting within your emotion rather than evaluating what's causing these emotions, you're steady being affected and you're not being the cause. Not just being the cause, but being aware of the cause as well. You know what I'm saying? What's causing you to have this effect, or just not being affected at all, regardless of the cause. All of that is part of polarizing yourself at the side of the pendulum, bringing it back to the principle of rhythm. You're polarizing yourself on the side of the pendulum, which is the representation of your Christhood. So that's really my piece on the situation. Panic's video on lecture, I should say. Panic's lecture on the principle of rhythm is great. The rest of the lecture, he goes in giving different examples of the principle of rhythm shown in Hollywood. He brings up what's his name? The brother who was he used to do TV shows and shit. Bill Cosby, man. Bill Cosby. He talks about Bill Cosby and Bill Cosby's correlation to the principle of rhythm. And he talks about Bill Cosby's I think he talks about Bill Cosby being a Mason and different rites of passage that they go through in correlation to the principle of rhythm as well. Don't quote me on that. I really don't remember too much of that part of the video. I wasn't, like I say, it didn't really resonate with me like that. The part that resonated with me was pretty much most of what I played. And yeah, that's pretty much, it's going to be it for this video. I appreciate everybody tapping in on Master Student. And once again, you know, if you want to watch this lecture by Brother Panic, just go to Pandemon YouTube channel. He or she, whoever the entity is always dropping Brother Panic's lectures. This one is called Brother Panic, the Principle of Rhythm. And I appreciate you tapping in. I appreciate everybody tapping in for this lecture. And another hour of reflection. Well, it really wasn't an hour this time around, but yeah. Peace.
Walking my own path. A follower would never understand a leader. Life a bitch, but I still won't mistreat her.
Translate to my kin so they